This is Saigon, Vietnam, also known as Ho Chi Minh City. It's the most populous city in Vietnam with a population of over 9 million people. It's one of the most vibrant cities in Southeast Asia. Everywhere you go here, the city pulsates with energy and activity. But what sets the city apart from other Southeast Asian cities is, of course, the cuisine. Here you will find restaurants and street vendors around every corner, each one of them offering a unique take on the flavors of Vietnam. But if you come here as a tourist, there are places that you may never find, and that's what this video is all about. So I'm going to spend a couple of days in this amazing city looking for the best, the most unique, and the most delicious places to eat that most tourists will never find. I'm Dave Kaufman, and this is Dave Kaufman Eats the World. So our first stop on our Saigon food tour is this place. It's a little food cart right here on the corner of this street. If you didn't know it was here, you'd probably walk right past it, and I'm anticipating really good things out of this place because it's so small and dainty and on a street corner. But we've met up with a friend of ours that lives right here in Saigon, and he told me that there's a dish that they specialize in here called broken rice. I'm really curious to see what broken rice is and how it was broken, and more importantly, how they can fix it. All right, so what do we got here? So this is, looks like bacon.
Yes, bacon.
Looks like chicken.
No, they chicken.
Oh, that's chicken.
Also, big meat.
That's pork, and that's steak, and that's noodles. Now that we've got that sorted, we have our meats in order. So I would like
you should order
meat
one dish
with broken rice.
with this.
Yeah, we'll try that.
Yeah.
All right, we'll try a little sampling of everything. All right, look at this. This is awesome, thank you. All right, let's learn a little Vietnamese here. How do you say thank you in Vietnamese?
Come on.
Come on?
Yes, come on.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on. Come on. There, she's left. Okay. All right, so we've got our broken rice. We've got our meat. We've got our pork skewer right here. And then also, look at this. We've got our egg and meat all mixed together. All right, let's give this a try first. Look at this. All right, that is really dense, really compact. It's like an egg and meat souffle, to put it into Western terms. All right, we're giving this a shot. That's exactly what it is. It tastes just like a really hearty meat quiche. And you were saying that this meal that we're having right here, this is like a traditional Vietnamese breakfast.
Yes. It is common with Southern people in Southern people in Vietnam. Yeah, in Southern we often eat this for in the morning.
In the morning, okay.
Yeah, breakfast.
So no cornflakes. You have meat and rice and
Meat, rice, and sometimes we will order an egg.
an egg. Okay.
Yeah, an egg.
All right, let's dig into the broken rice. So if I had to guess why they call this broken rice is because when you have the grain of rice on the top of the barrel or whatever they keep it in, okay, so fine, you've got the rice. But on the bottom of the barrel, all the broken pieces, they don't let that go to waste. They make it just the same way that they make rice, and they call it broken rice. Let's give this a whirl. Yeah, I mean, not much can be said about a nice big plate of fluffy rice. All right, and here we have the big pork meat skewer. All right, let's give this a big old bite. Ooh, right away, that just hits you with so much flavor. And that is so succulent and so juicy, so savory. I am really loving this like Vietnamese street food right on the corner of this busy road right here. This is just awesome. All right, so next we're gonna try out this meat here. Look at that, it's a nice kind of medium rare, nice and juicy looking. Looks like there's some bones in there, so I'm gonna have to be careful. I can't just shove all this in my mouth like I love to. I'm gonna have to take a little dainty bite of this. So I'm just gonna take that right off the fork, and that looks like a good spot to take a bite. Oh yeah, it tastes like this has been marinated in soy sauce, but it is nice and savory and flavorful and juicy, just the way a good meat should be. You know, we just got here just a couple hours ago. This is the first food that we've had in Vietnam, and already I am loving Vietnamese cuisine just as much as I knew that I would. You know, you could go to an expensive restaurant here, there's lots of them around, but I always like try to skip where the tourists go and come to a place just like this on a street corner, on some street that tourists will never find, and this is the kind of food that I wanted to try in Vietnam. So as we left our street corner vendor, we headed deeper into the city to gawk at the architecture that rivals just about any other city in the world. Yes, Vietnam has a beauty that just can't be found anywhere else. But Vietnam is known primarily for its seafood, and it's here that you can find some of the most unique seafood dishes in the world. So right behind me is a typical Vietnamese seafood restaurant stand, and they have some of the most interesting shellfish. And I mean shellfish. All right, so what do we got over here? We got a lot of shellfish here. So this is razor clam here, and then we've got all sorts of snails. We've got scallops, crab legs over here. Now, do you get to keep the shell as a souvenir after you eat it?
What?
Do you keep, like, look at how pretty those shells are. Do you get to keep that as a souvenir after you eat it?
No, I don't know. I don't.
Oh, all right, because I'm gonna keep it if I, like, eat that.
Oh, you will keep it?
I want to try one of these.
Oh, yes. So the one
Yeah, one of those, yep. What are those?
One is 100.
One is 100?
Yes.
All right, then we better just get two. So with prices this expensive, we only loaded up on a little bit of everything, including sauteed razor clams with ramen noodles. First, the razor clams are sauteed with spices and garlic, and we chose to splurge and get 3 cone snails. And certainly, we couldn't pass up the fresh grilled oysters, grilled in their shell on an open grill. Did I say grilled too many times? Once the oysters are just about halfway cooked, he grabs a big knife and splits them open. And if that was me, I would have lost both my thumbs the first day on the job. But once they are in their half shell, they are put back on the grill to finish the job. While our shellfish is being cooked over there, we've come to Cafe and Tea, where we're gonna try some mango iced tea here. One of the more common kiosks you'll find on the streets of Saigon are drink kiosks with every kind of refreshing beverage you can think of. Mango iced tea begins with a couple of heaping scoops of diced mango marinating in a sweet mango syrup. She then adds a splash of sweet tea, slices some fresh cut limes, and squeezes just enough juice to taste, then adds a couple of pumps of sugar water. Then a scoop of ice cubes and a couple of shakes, just like a good bartender should, and then top it off with more scoops of marinated mango. And just like that, we have the freshest batch of mango iced tea in the city. Come on, thank you. Awesome. Take a look at that. That looks absolutely amazing. Then heading back over to the grill, they've moved on to the cone snail, grilling it to perfection, letting all the natural juices marinate the snail meat inside. We're right over here where we've already got our oysters and some noodles. This is the seat. I'm gonna be able to fit like one cheek on this. And they're all like this. All right, and here is our barbecued cone snail. That looks just absolutely amazingly. And Ewan, you have your oysters there?
Yep.
And what is that, a cream sauce that they put on it?
Yeah, it's like a hollandaise sauce.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Pretty good?
Yep.
Pretty good. All right. But this is what I'm really looking forward to. I'm gonna dig in. All right, but first, before we try all this delicious looking seafood, let's try this mango iced tea. Oh man, that is super sweet, super good. You can really taste the mango in it, of course, because there's huge chunks of mango in it. If you couldn't taste the mango in it with all those huge chunks in it, there would be a problem, but I'm gonna stir that up a little bit. Try another sip. Big chunks of mango come up that really thick straw. This is super refreshing and super delicious. All right, let's dig into those razor clams. So we got our bowl, we got our chopsticks. We're gonna get some of those noodles in there. We're gonna get some of those clams in there. All right, so we've got a delicious bowl of this razor clam with this ramen noodles. We're gonna give this a bite. I want a big piece of the clam and I want some of those noodles all in one bite here. There we go, look at that. Oh, that is so good. The razor clams are super chewy, super flavorful. They're not overpowering. They don't have that overpowering fishy taste that some clams have. And there's a spice to this noodle that just brings all of those flavors together. This right here is rock star level Vietnamese seafood. But we still got a lot more to try here. All right, so next is the coup de grace, the cone shell. So how do you eat this?
This?
Yeah, do you just kind of like take the meat out with the chopsticks?
Yes, you should use this.
Oh, you use spears. So you just take this?
Yes.
You just stab at that?
And take it out.
And then take it out. Take it out. You just, and you just take it. So you just stab at that meat and you just pull it right out of that shell. Look at that. Wow, there's a lot in there. This shell is still hot from being on that open flame, but look at that. It just comes right out in one big strip of meaty goodness. All right, I've got my skewered piece of cone shell. Let's give this a try. This is an extremely interesting texture. There's not a lot of flavors that hit you right away. It's a very chewy texture. You really have to chew this pretty hard. You can't take just a couple of bites and swallow with this. It's like chewing gum. It's like chewing almost leather. But the flavor is really subtle. Again, there's not a lot of flavor to these. It's all about that texture. All right, so then for our third and final dish, we got some sea snails in a coconut sauce soup. These are really interesting. So what you do is you take these snails and you've got to suck out the meat. So the end of the shell is broken here, and you got to take this right here and suck it out, and you'll be able to suck out all that meat. So a lot of people that I meet, well, some of them tell me I suck. So I'm gonna prove them right. I'm gonna suck the meat right out of the shell. Oh my God. I haven't even really gotten any meat out of there. Apparently I don't suck as much as I thought that I did. But what I am getting is all of those flavors from that coconut soup that was in these shells. Oh man, is that good. All right, I'm gonna suck some more. Wow, like the cone shell, this is all about the texture. The actual flavor of the meat really doesn't have its own flavor, but it does have this very chewy texture that's kind of very interesting to eat. But when you have all those onions in there and that coconut, and that's what's giving the flavor to the snail meat. I think I sucked that one thoroughly dry. So now that we've tried our seafood and our broken rice breakfast dish that, well, we had for dinner, our friend told us about a pretty unique Vietnamese street food that I simply could not leave the city without trying. As we walked and then drove our way through the congested city streets, I asked more than a few times what it was that he had to show me, and all he could tell me was that it was the sweetest spring rolls I've ever had. And I honestly thought he was kidding when he asked if I ever had candy on a spring roll. And it turns out he wasn't joking. All right, so we pulled over to this bike restaurant and we're gonna try these spring rolls. These aren't your typical Vietnamese spring rolls that are made from cellophane paper and vegetables. These begin with sweet rice paper loaded with a bed of coconut shavings. Then she adds a pile of fresh ground peanuts, a layer of sweet condensed milk, a sprinkling of black sesame seeds, and then the most interesting ingredient yet, sticks of pure white molasses just to set your sweet tooth into overdrive. Then she wraps it all up and it's ready to go. The second kind she makes has basically the same ingredients as the first one, with one key exception: candy. This is like a combination of taffy and gummy bears that she twists and turns through her fingers like a taffy stretcher. Then she plops it in a bin of powdered sugar. Once it's thoroughly coated with that powdered sugar, she twists and turns it some more until it begins to form into threads. Then she makes a little nest of candy on top of the other ingredients. Then she finishes it all off with another piece of rice paper, and we're good to go. All right, so we have gotten our spring rolls. We have usurped this table at this coffee shop to try these out. I cannot wait. And look at that, they just come so perfectly wrapped. We're gonna try this out. Here we go. Oh wow, there are so many things happening here. We've got the richness of the coconut, the savoriness of the peanuts, and then as you chew more, you get that blast of sweetness from these molasses sticks. This is more of like a dessert spring roll. And again, as you eat it, there are so many flavors that just kind of invade your senses. All right, we literally ate those spring rolls in about 3 seconds, but now I'm going in for this. Have a look at how awesome that is. So with the rice paper on the spring roll, nice and pliable, could be made into a wrap. This is actually hard. So this is kind of like a spring roll sandwich made on harder rice paper. This is absolutely amazing. You can see that candy in there just starting to melt away in the heat here in Ho Chi Minh City, but the rest of the ingredients are all blending with that. I'm going in, I'm taking a bite. That is really tough, chewy rice paper. That candy, and I'm not even sure what it is. It's like a taffy, but it's super sweet. But I gotta say, it's a little overpowering. That's pretty much all you taste in this. It overpowers the coconut, it overpowers the savoriness of the peanuts. All you really taste is that really sweet taffy. There's a lot of different things happening in this, and I would like to get a taste of all those flavors without one ingredient being so overpowering. This is super sweet, super chewy, super delicious. But of the two, I like the spring rolls just a little bit better. So if you ever make it to Saigon, leave the main tourist areas and go find a street corner in any given district in the city, and you'll find food unlike anything you've ever had before. So if you're hungry for more, there's a video to watch right there, and if you're starving for more, there's a playlist to watch right there. I'm doing this as a voiceover because I forgot to film this part when I was in Vietnam. I'm a professional.